Well, hello and welcome to the latest episode of Day Tripper Daz, and in front of us stands the magnificent statue of Sir Francis Drake, who of course beat off the Spanish Armada in 1588.
Yes.
And stands here very proudly today on Plymouth Hoe alongside the War Memorial, and also to our other side you can see the magnificent building of Smeaton's Tower, as well as the magnificent statue of Tony, who's joined me once again on one of our day trips.
Yes, glad to be here to ply my mouth with beer.
Right, very good. Well, now there's a clue in what he just said, because we're not actually here to do an historical trip to Plymouth, although that will be part of it. What we're really here to do today is to find a number of nice pubs in Plymouth. But we're not just going to do that, we are going to do the history that goes along and surrounds the outside of those particular buildings as well. So Smeaton's Tower, for example, was the old Eddystone lighthouse.
Yeah, look at it. It's iconic of Plymouth, isn't it?
Isn't it? It's iconic of the southwest of England, I think.
Often it's used as a symbol of the southwest.
Coming up on today's programme, find out why this pub on Union Street took us to this Odeon Cinema and to this Odeon Theatre. Why it's not just the streets of Hollywood that are paved with stars. We meet two intrepid explorers inside this tavern. And can we really survive a day of boozing in Plymouth's pubs?
Well, it's normally palm trees greeting us in Tor Bay that we would find, but today, as we've come down to the Union Rooms in the centre of Plymouth, Tony's been kind enough to get the first drink all stacked up for us, like you do. So we've come to this part of Plymouth, not so much because of the pub, though there's nothing wrong with the pub, it's a very nice place, the Union Rooms, but mostly because we want to have a little look in a minute down at Union Street, because there's a building I particularly want to show you, so that's kind of the purpose of doing this. But we were talking about some of the famous people that are synonymous with this city. Who are the ones that you can think of?
Well, Francis Drake,
Of course,
you will have heard of.
yeah.
There was,
Well, we saw him earlier on Plymouth Hoe.
There was Scott of the Antarctic.
And that bit I didn't know. So he was actually...
Lipton, wasn't it?
Ah, amazing.
Who you might have heard of, then led to missions or expeditions to the South Pole.
Excellent. Well, a couple of other things. Now, there's one artist that you've discovered.
So Joshua Reynolds.
Joshua Reynolds. So he's...
portrait painted for people that... because there's a huge naval port here.
Yeah.
Docks. So people high up in the Navy, like the Admiral and whatever, they have their portraits painted by Sir Joshua Reynolds.
And of course, probably the most famous Plymouth artist that I can think of was Robert Lenkovich, whose pictures can still be seen around the Barbican area of Plymouth, of course. And of course, there's the most famous person from Plymouth, Tom Daly,
With the diver.
he's a diver, like you do. But where we're going to head to now, shortly, is down that road, and we're going to see a building which I think is really quite impressive and needs to be seen. So that's the Wetherspoons Union Rooms there, as we head down Union Street. And as I said earlier, the whole idea today is not just to find an interesting pub or two that we will find, but also to tell a little bit about the story of some of the parts of Plymouth where those particular pubs are. I can tell you that building there used to be the old Toys R Us shop, which no longer exists. And that's not the only thing that no longer exists. This used to be the old Plymouth Odeon Cinema.
Wow.
Now the story is here, Tony, as we wander down through Union Street, I would have probably seen a few films in there, but one I do remember was Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh, right. Steven Spielberg.
A Steven Spielberg film. And one of the things I always remember, because I was quite young when that was kind of like in its heyday. Look at that.
Yeah,
It's,
the 80s.
yeah, it's sort of Art Deco, isn't it?
It's seen better days. I think.
Seen better days. It's not open now, sadly.
It's a shame, really.
That would make a great Weatherspoons
Yeah, it would
pub.
make a great Weatherspoons.
But what I do remember is when I was coming out of that was back in the days when, if you watched a long film like Close Encounters
Yeah.
was, it was a pretty lengthy film, you'd have a half-time break,
Yeah, an intermission.
an intermission.
Where you can get popcorn and go to the corridor.
Yeah, now as you can see, it's a pretty bustling place, and there's lots of blue flashing lights going on here today, so we're not entirely sure what's going down on this particular occasion. But yeah, I remember coming out of that theatre, that cinema, and I remember the chandeliers. The chandeliers looked like they were spacecraft.
Oh, I do.
And I was thinking, well, what a connection there was with the film that we've just seen and the chandeliers, or I guess that's what they're called. I have expected Doughboy and Rodney to knock one of them down. So we've come a little bit further down Union Street here, Tony. What I didn't mention earlier on is the Weatherspoons pub that we've just been in.
Yeah.
Did serve another purpose at one stage.
Yeah.
Can you remember?
It used to be a BMW showroom, would you believe it?
It did.
Which gave it some nice sort of glass frontage.
Big glass front.
Plenty of light into the Weatherspoons, because often Weatherspoons can be a little bit dark and dingy, the older buildings. But they do a nice job of renovating old buildings.
Well, I remember it because as a child, you'd see these BMW cars, and I can't remember many people that I knew in Plymouth who could afford a BMW at the time. But it did have those big glass fronted windows there, and yes, it did actually sell things. Now, the other thing we haven't mentioned, of course, is the slightly salubrious, is that a word?
Yeah.
Salubrious pass of this particular road here, which is Union Street, which was well known for being a red light district.
Yeah, I mean, I think originally it was a place where the wealthy used to live in Plymouth. But yeah, its reputation went downhill somewhat and became a red light district.
Red light district.
I mean, it does look a little bit scruffy in places to this day.
Probably connected to the fact that this is a naval port, and maybe the young men who were coming back from far distant places here wanted a little bit of extracurricular
Activities when they're on shore.
when they're on shore here.
Definitely.
Anyway, what we really wanted to show you now, though, is this building here. And I don't know, is it something out of a horror film? I'm not too sure about that. But this used to be called the Palace Theatre.
It's also got signage there talking about the Great Western Hotel.
Interesting, isn't it? I wonder if that's connected to the one in Exeter in any way. Could be, but irrespective of that, this originally was built in 1898 and was open for 3 months, and then there was a big fire and it closed down 3 months after it opened. They reopened it a year later and called it the New Palace Theatre, and Tony, you can still see the name written on that building there. In the centuries after the century after that this was opened, it became rather sadly a bingo hall.
Yeah, well, many of the old theatres did that.
And then later in its life became a nightclub. So we're heading up towards our next pub on our trip in Plymouth today. I just thought anyone who's familiar with Plymouth going back hundreds of years, remember the old Green Shield stamp shop? Used to be over there, along with all that scaffolding and stuff is there. And everyone used to collect books and books and books of these Green Shield stamps. And they'd finally take them down to the Green Shield stamp shop and get a toaster. Now, we're outside the bank bar here, and we see lots of little stars here. It reminds me of Broadway, Tony, doesn't it?
Broadway, yeah, when you've got your name in the pavement on Broadway, well, maybe people are at the theatre.
Now I think these are actually a little bit more aimed at us ordinary folk rather than big stars, I think, because they've got things like Mike and Jackie Sully, who probably weren't film stars.
Maybe you could sponsor a paving slab and then
Well,
you
that
could
could
name
be.
in stars.
Sam, Mara, Kate and Tom,
Yeah.
Bob and Gillian. I don't think they're film stars. We've come to this pub here called the Gypsy Moth. I'll come to that in a minute. We remember it for two different names.
Yes. It was the Yard Arm, when I remember staying here, because it's got some nice rooms here, you can stay very close to the historic area of Plymouth Hoe, and I think it was also called the
Inn on the Hoe. Inn on the Hoe. And I've stayed here in this very place as well. It's now called the Gypsy Moth. I believe it was called the Gypsy Moth before all the other names we've just mentioned.
Yes, it's reverted to its original name.
Here. But we'll come to that in a moment, because we saw, as we were starting this particular programme, the statue of Sir Francis Drake. Now, he kind of set a new record, I believe. He was the first person to sail around the world.
Yes.
Back in the
1580s.
So he was the first person, but he didn't do it alone. He was on a big ship, the Golden Hind, I guess.
Yes, and there were 5 ships within the convoy, in the ship's convoy.
So he had good company, and lots of rats probably around the place as well here. But fast forward about 400 years?
Almost 300 years later.
300 years later, another man called Francis, this time called Francis Chichester, sailed around the world, but this time he did it single-handedly from Plymouth.
Yeah. In 1967 to 68. So it took almost a year to do it.
And the significance of this pub that we're in now is called the Gypsy Moth, because that was the name of his boat. Yeah. Well, there can't be any more iconic part of Plymouth than the Mayflower steps, to which we've come to right now. And here, of course, everyone will know that this is where the founding fathers set sail from
America.
Yeah. But this is where America began. These are the Mayflower steps, and for everyone watching this program in America, this is where you all began.
Well, most of you.
Some of you.
At least the British colonies part of America would have started here.
Yeah.
But you remember the Spanish ever did look at it, and the French and the Germans.
They've all been at
and the
it,
Dutch.
really.
There's quite a few.
Yeah, they've all been. Yeah, the conquistadors. I suppose they all probably had a little bit of a hand in there. Anyway, as far as we're concerned, you've got all these plaques commemorating the Mayflower steps. We are on a journey here today to find pubs in Plymouth. Pilgrims are all very well and good, 10 a penny if you ask me, but the pubs we need to go to will include this one here, which is the Crown and Anchor, and I think we should have a pint in there.
Let's take our ship talk indoors.
Yeah. So we've come inside the Crown and Anchor, and we're enjoying a nice beer there, Tom. And we've chosen to come into this pub on the day when the Chancellor's doing her budget.
Oh yeah.
So we thought it would be a good idea to get a pint in first before they raise the price of alcohol stuff here. But it's very nice in here. They've got a few Christmas decorations up already. We're just coming towards the end of November, and so it's all very nice here. We'll just bypass Kemi Badenoch, which is waffling on there. And actually surrounding the walls here, have you seen all these nautical markers on the wall?
It's a nice illustration of the local coastline around here. Drake's Island, you can see there.
There's Drake's Island right in front of us there, and a silhouette of Sir Francis Drake on the wall. And we can have a look at the bar across here with a few of the stars that are shining down there. They're all looking very nice. So it's the nice thing about coming to the Barbican here, Tony, is that we've already come to a couple of pubs already. We haven't gone very far, have we? It's quite an easy sort of just stroll from one bar to the next, which is quite good, and then fall out of them very quickly, or be kicked out of them, whichever comes first. I mean, that could be the case there. So we're going to have a little stroll further along the area down at the down by the quayside here, and hopefully by the time we get to the next pub, the Chancellor won't have put up the price of beer too much. So as we look down across the quayside here, down on the Barbican in Plymouth here, looking across at the Three Crowns.
Yeah, there's quite a few little pubs all packed into a small area here.
They're all quite nice here, aren't they? We've got the Maritime Inn there, Barbican Gallery, Robert Lenkovich Picture is down there. That's the mural. It's all starting to fade rather badly, I'm afraid, there with there. OMG, if you fancy a bit of a pink night out, is in that direction there. The Three Crowns. I tried to go in there on when I filmed down here, my very first adventure on Day Tripper Daz was here. This was the very first place I came down to film. And I wanted to go in Three Crowns, but there were lots of music playing in the background, and I'd probably get in trouble with YouTube if I put that on there. Anyway, the reason I've come here though, Tony, on our pub trip to Plymouth, is this pub here called the Ship Inn.
Carefully to say that, Darren.
Very good. And when I was in that pub, I asked our loyal viewer if I could have one subscriber.
And did you achieve that?
Just one. Well, yes, we're into the hundreds now, so that's worked out very nicely.
Thank you for everyone subscribing.
Yeah, and thank you very much for subscribing. Very much appreciate it. Now, by the way, on that subject, if you're enjoying this one, please press the subscribe button and thumbs up, like you do, and press those reminder things, you know, the ones that just set it for when the next video comes out there. Hello. And okay, so we're going to pop into the Ship Inn, and we're going to have some shipping in. Well, it's the cobblestone path that brings us into our next pub, and Tony, you've managed to find another Wetherspoons, but at least it's down here. Yeah, well, it must be, because it's cheap. We found the Gog and Magog. Now, there's a story behind that. Can you remember what it is? Something about monsters or something, isn't it?
I think it's an old Celtic giant that had a fight. And I think it was against Magog. It was against somebody else. So I don't really know the full story, but that's the sort of tale behind it.
Okay, so they won't be charging monster prices if we go in there. So let's do that. So I've taken a temporary halt from drinking beer to going on to the rum and coke type thing, but Tony's still sticking religiously to the beer side of things here, and we're in the Gog and Magog.
The Gog and Magog.
The Gog and Magog. Well, it's easy for you to say, and you did try to give an explanation just now as to what it was, but are we still convinced it is a sort of tale of something?
It's a mythical, well, probably a Celtic legend, where you got somebody trying to fight a Trojan invasion. You might have heard of a Trojan horse back in Greek mythology. But basically, it was like the locals trying to defend themselves from invaders, which has been an issue throughout history.
either way, it's a pub, isn't it? So, I mean, we're sticking true to our tradition here of pubs that we're doing here today in Plymouth here. Slightly losing track of how many pubs we've done so far. I reckon about 8 or 9. Can't be far off that, maybe 7. Yeah. Right, well, we're going to move on to the next pub then. So we'll see you later in the show. So we've just left the Wetherspoons pub, which is the what did we call it? That one there. But what we're going to do is just have a little look across the road here, called the House That Jack Built. Just have a quick wander through there and just see what that's all about. So as you can see, I think it's one of these kind of like arcade type shopping centres basically, and we can have a look and see what's in here. Could be a few little specialities. All kind of got a bit of a fantasy look about it. Welcome here. That's very good. Ah, now look at this. So here's like a little, it's almost like a wishing well, isn't it?
One or two coins been thrown in.
3 queens in the fountain.
Do they take contactless though?
Ah, do they? See, this is a bit of a fantasy world that we've entered into here. And some of these characters up here spinning around like you do. Oh, Tony was saying to me just now that we couldn't find any fish and chip shops around the Barbican here in Plymouth, but there is one there right now. But that brings us now conveniently to our final pub today. Not necessarily the best one, just pub number 1 today, which is the Navy Inn, which, given this is a seafaring city, the Navy Inn seems quite appropriate.
And appropriately coloured in navy blue.
It's the right colour, isn't it? So, it's not just the fact that this is quite a good pub, which it is. It's also the fact that this has got a bit of a ghostly past, Tony.
Yes, this used to be a inn that hosted seafaring captains. You know, the important guys that were running the ships, not the
not you and me,
ratings,
the top-notch jobs.
And back in the 1800s, a captain was there, and unfortunately he allegedly murdered a young female, who then that wasn't just it. He then had to murder the girl's mother as well.
So you buy one, you get one free.
Yes, that's
basically.
right.
So and the hauntings have been here ever since.
There was the tale about 10 years ago where a group of girls on a hen weekend, and one of the ladies went into the ladies' toilet and saw the apparition of a young lady appearing in the mirror in the ladies' toilet.
And this has got nothing to do with they were drinking on a hen night?
Well, that always must be taken into consideration.
Okay, well, we'll consider that. But what we're taking into consideration, we'll enter our final port of call here at the Navy Inn here in Plymouth.
And see what spirits.
And we can get some spirits as well, like you do. See you shortly.
That's brilliant.
Okay, so we are now in the Navy, like you do, and we're with Sam, who's joined us at the bar. You were saying that you were talking about the ghosts at this pub earlier on today.
Yeah. So I'm here since I've been here. I've heard a lot of haunted stories, haunted places.
So in here though, apparently there are ghosts in this pub as well.
Because I've seen one already. I've been here for about 10 minutes, mate. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well that's me.
He come in that door, fucking went right there.
Really?
Yeah.
No, we heard that some guy murdered some young girl or something that was in this pub. And the ghosts have kind of been. But then we also heard that some girls stayed here on a hen weekend. And they saw some ghosts, but we're not totally convinced that they weren't just drinking too much. You can never be sure, can you? Anyway, thank you very much for talking to us, and do look out for yourself when you look out for your programme.
Yeah, alright, yeah, we'll do. What you called? What's your
Dave Tripper Daz.
Dave Tripper Daz, yeah.
Dave Tripper Daz.
Right, yeah.
That's the one there.
Alright, I'll
nice
get on
one.
to that, yeah.
Good to see you, mate.
Yeah.
Nice to see you. Right, well that just about brings us to the end of this programme, Tony. Once again, subscribe and press the like button and all that palaver.
Subscribe, press the like button,
and all the other stuff.
Check out the other videos on the channel. There's lots of really fun, useful information there. Just planning your day trip.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So, till next time we see you, it's goodbye from Tony. And it's goodbye from me. Bye.